Yahweh Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Shalom. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistle and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We all vindicator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehuda, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. When we say the commandments, look mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep His commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. One part of forever that they don't understand. As it is written, His saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with Him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistle and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We all vindicator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehuda, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. When we say the commandments, look mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep His commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. One part of forever that they don't understand. As it is written, his saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with him as we read out of this great legacy. The greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace. Beyond the surface. Beyond the surface. Beyond us. Beyond the surface. The principle is wicked world vision. Got black folk experiencing strong delusions. Got ears that can't hear, mouths that won't speak, eyes that can't see that this curse is so deep. Deaf, dumb, and blind, committing sins, slash crime, repent. Oh, Israel, we're running out of precious time in the land where they saying God's word is dead, and you wondering why the end shit. That's cause Satan's in the earth, he's walking to and fro, doing what he's told, meeting his status quo. Tempting man with pleasure and wickedness, denying the master, saying don't keep his commandments. Our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of nations, but you love earthly riches than salvation. That means get safety from tribulation and wrath. The broad way leads to death, and narrow is the path. Preach the gospel, spread the good news. The son of Elohim, Yahshua, king of the Jews, not king of the Christians. Nothing they do is Christ like. They criminals of Yahweh, outlaws in his sight. Same-sex marriage is okay with the president. That old serpent, the devil, is controlling the government. No prayer in the school system, no truth in the black churches. That's food in our neighborhood, no mercy. Look beyond the surface. Do your own, see the spirit of truth beyond the surface. Beyond.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. My name is Yosef ben Israel, and I'm the elder priest of the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. We're located at 3901A Covington Highway, Indicator, Georgia 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. Our website is www.thencci.org. Again, welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. Today's topic is, it was the white man that created the black man. Let me repeat that. It was the white man that created the black man. Now, if you watched this program before, you know you must have your Bibles out to follow along with what we're talking about today. It was white Christians that enslaved black people's forefathers, and they made sure that the slave knew his place. A slave could see that he looked different from white people. White people were never slaves, at least not chattel slaves. But everyone that was black was a slave. White people were free, but black people were not free. White Americans looked at other white Americans as brethren, and that because they were white, they were superior to anyone that was not white. They would beat their slaves mercilessly to instill fear in them. They would rape the wives of slaves or the children of slaves to let them know that as white men, they could do whatever they wanted with their slaves, and there was nothing that they could do about it. This had a detrimental effect on the minds of slaves. They would think that there was something wrong with being black. And so eventually, after slavery, they tried to shake off that inferiority complex by saying that they were black and proud, mimicking proud white men. White people are white people are proud because they own everything. Black people are proud and own nothing. They are just proud because white people are proud. Let's start this off in 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 1 through verse 7. 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 1 to verse 7. And it came to pass, when Shlomo had finished the building of the house of Yahweh, and the king's house, and all Shlomo's desire which he was pleased to do, that Yahweh appeared to Shlomo the second time, as he appeared unto him in Gibeon. And Yahweh said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house which thou hast built, to put my name there forever. And mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if you shall at all turn from following me, you or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. Well, let me continue. Let me add that verse 8 in there. And at this house which is high, everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath Yahweh done thus unto this land, unto this house? Well, the reason I read that is to explain why people look at black people the way they do. It's because of what I just read here in verse 7. It said, then I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. Now, black people are a joke to white people because they mimic everything that white people do. First of all, black people don't have their own language. They speak the white man's language. And so they think like the white man. And that goes hand in hand on how a black man was shaped in the 400 years that we've been here. It's shaped in the image of white men. Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 5 and verse 18 and 19. Remember now, white people are a proud people. And black people want to be proud too, but they don't have anything to be proud of. They don't own anything. Let's go to Proverbs 16 and verse 5 and then 18 and 19. That's something that black people don't understand, is that their position with Yahweh. Because we are Yahweh's servants, and a servant is never supposed to be proud. He's supposed to be humble. This is Proverbs 16, verse 5. It says, everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. See, pride is an abomination to Yahweh, but only for his people. He doesn't say that about white people. Why? Because white people are not his people. Yahweh's people have been talked about in the Bible. White people do not identify with the Bible. In verse 18 and 19, it says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. So let white people be proud. That's them. They got a lot to be proud of. But black people, what do you have to be proud of when you call yourself black and proud? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 1 to verse 5. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 1 to verse 5. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of Elohim and his doctrine be not blasphemed. Well, yeah, well, white folk used that against the slaves. We know that. But they took it out of context. They just left it there and said, you slave, you see what it says here? You got to give me honor. But let's continue on reading. And they have believing masters, let them not despise them because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. Now, white Christians do not consider black Christians as their brothers. History shows that. They have tried everything in the book to discourage black Christians or Negro Christians, but they continue on in their Christianity. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Now, white folks ain't going to read this part. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. So now that fits more like white people, because they feel like because they are rich and powerful, God must love them. That's godliness. That's how the mind of a proud person thinks, because they got so much that God must be pleased with them. Let's continue. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. Hear the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Now, Christians like to go here to justify not having a Christmas tree in their house. It's pagan, yes. But one thing I notice about Christians when they quote in Jeremiah 10, they leave out verse 1 and just go straight to verse 2. It says, look at what it says in verse 1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. They never say that. They act like the rest of it, that verse 1 doesn't matter. No, he's talking directly to a people that he regards as a house of Israel, not Christians. See, Christians want to read the rest of this, but they don't give any credit as to who this is being said to. It's being said to the house of Israel. You Christians are hypocrites because you leave out verse 1. You act like Israel does not matter, does not exist. You should be ashamed of yourself cherry-picking this Bible to make yourself look bigger. Verse 1. Let me read it again. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Not Christians. You're a bunch of hypocrites. Cherry-picking the Bible make you look good. No, you look like fools. You look like the white man. Because that's what the white man does. Whenever he sees Israel, he does not bother mentioning it. You do the same thing that white Christians do. You omit Israel. So yeah, you are in the image of white men. White people have taught black people to not keep Yahweh's laws and commandments, and to be Christians like them. Because they say, well, God doesn't have any laws and commandments anymore. Well, let's see why he doesn't have them. I mean, let's look at the commandments and see what is wrong with the commandments. Because it says that God doesn't have any commandments. As a matter of fact, he said Christ nailed them to the cross. Let's see what he nailed to the cross. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 to verse 17. Let's see what he nailed to the cross that you don't have to do anymore. Because all this, listen what they say had been nailed to the cross. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 to verse 17. And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Now, who is he talking to? He's talking to the children of Israel. He's not talking to anyone else. The people out there in that wilderness at Mount Sinai, they heard his voice. Well, they heard that voice coming out of the mountain. This is who he's addressing. And Elohim and God spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Remember, they were slaves in Egypt. That's what bondage means. Slavery. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Christians got a problem with that. They got a problem with that. So they nailed that to the cross. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh thy Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. They got a problem with that. Because it said, don't make unto you any graven image. They got to have a graven image. So they disregard that commandment. They got to have a picture or image of their God, JC. They got to have a picture of him. They can't conceive of having a God that they cannot see. So they say, now this has been nailed to the cross too, that we can make any graven image. And we can bow down to it. And that's what they do. They bow down to their cross. They bow down to any image of JC. So they must get rid of this commandment. And black people say, okay, we'll bow down to the cross. We'll wear crosses around our necks. We'll do everything that white man do. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Well, if you love God, then you should keep his commandments. That's what it's saying here. So, in other words, what you're saying, by not keeping the commandment, you're saying, I don't love God. Does that make sense? Why did he give the commandments just to have them nailed to the cross? And when you keep on reading, you see that these commandments were written down in stone. So you can't erase them. Let's continue. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain, for Yahweh will not hold them guiltless to take his name in vain. A Christian say, that's been nailed to the cross too. We can take God's name in vain. We can lie. We can tell people, so God told me to tell you this. That's what Christians taught, white Christians taught black people. That it's all right to lie. And praise God at the same time. That's taking God's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Christians say no. Christians say we will worship on the first day of the week, not the seventh day of the week. That's been done away with. When? Can you show me that in the Bible? That the Sabbath has been done away with. Show me that in the Bible. If you can't show it to me in the Bible, then you're lying. Y'all go to church on Sunday because Emperor Constantine made you go to church on Sunday. Emperor Constantine was a sun worshiper. And he passed a law saying anybody that's keeping the Sabbath day holy will be killed. And that's how white people go to church on Sunday. And they taught their slaves to go to church on Sunday too. And that's all the slaves have known for 400 years. They must go to church on Sunday. They must not go to church on Saturday. This is what white men taught black people. Let's continue. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. Well, let's look at how the white man or the black man looks at that verse. This is how he looks at it. Honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. They put the mother before the father. That's the mindset of white men, that they love their women so much, they always say, women and children first. Ladies and gentlemen. You see the pattern here? So they put that in the commandment saying, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. See how they screwed that up? They caused the commandment to be a non-effect. Thou shalt not kill. That actually should be thou shalt not murder. Well, that didn't stop white Christians from murdering their slaves. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, yeah, you rape the wives of your slaves when they didn't have any power to stop you. And you love the white man God. Thou shalt not steal. Well, white folk, y'all been stealing from us since we've been here. When we had land, you stole that. You stole our freedom. You stole our names. We don't even have our own language. And we are a different people than you. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Well, you made up lies about us all the time. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Well, again, you covet everything we got. Let's go to Romans chapter 13. Because, again, white folks say that the law been nailed to the cross, the commandment been nailed to the cross, right? Let's go to Romans chapter 13, verse 8 to verse 10. Romans chapter 13, verse 8 to verse 10. Let's see what Paul had to say about that. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. What Paul is talking about the law here for? Huh? You said the law been done away with, but Paul is saying you got to fulfill the law. Let's continue. For this thou shalt not commit adultery. But just read that in the Ten Commandments, didn't we? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. If there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, Paul just named a few of the commandments we just read in Exodus chapter 20. But you said that's been nailed to the cross. There is no more law. And black people, you believe it without even trying to see for yourself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And black people, let me ask you something. Has white folks shown you any kind of love? Look at your living conditions. Look at the prison population. Look at what they're indoctrinating your children with in the public schools. They're indoctrinating them with white history. They never taught black children their own history. Let's continue. Let's go to Acts chapter 13, verse 13 to verse 15. Acts chapter 13, verse 15, verse 13 to verse 15. Now, remember now, y'all go to church on Sunday, right? So you call it Resurrection Sunday, first day of the week, right? Let's see if Paul agrees with you on that. Now, when Paul and his company loosed from Paphos, they came to Perga of Pamphylia, and Johanan, departing from them, returned to Jerusalem. But when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch in Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and sat down. Wait a minute. Didn't you say that when Christ rose up on the first day of the week, that the Sabbath had been done away with? But didn't Paul get the memo? Why is he here on the Sabbath day? I asked this over and over again. You say that the Sabbath had been done away with, but did nobody tell Paul? This is Paul on the Sabbath day. Let's see what they did on the Sabbath day and compare what they do on Sundays. And after the reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent unto them, saying, You men and brethren, if you have any word of exhortation for the people, say on. What did they do? What did they do on the Sabbath? They read from the law and the prophets. Christians, you have no law to read from, because you say the law been nailed to the cross. And you don't read the prophets, but Paul reads the prophets. Paul is a Pharisee, so he's an expert in the law and the prophets. But you say we don't have to do anything that this Bible say do. And black people go along right with it. Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. 1 Corinthians, this is New Testament, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, that's what white folk teach you. You worship Santa Claus. You worship Cupid. You worship the two-faced god Janus on January the 1st. Let's continue. But to us there is but one God, the Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Master, Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Now, keep in mind now, really, I was just getting heated up. Now I got to put on the brakes. You do this to me all the time, man. Now, I just want to make clear that white people have always worshipped many gods. They worship the gods of the Greek Empire and the gods of the Roman Empire, and they got their own gods. They got new gods now in America that you can worship. Now, they gave me the signal, so I got to stop here. Let me invite you out to the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. We're located at 3901A Covington Highway, Indicator, Georgia 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. And our website is www.thencci.org. We have a prophecy class every first day of the week at 11 o'clock a.m. Come on out and join us in reading of the prophets. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a history class every third day of the week, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Come on out and read about your history. This whole Bible is about you. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a sisters-only class every fifth day of the week, which is Thursday night at 8 o'clock p.m. You can join the sisters on Zoom. And lastly, we have a Sabbath service every seventh day of the week, which is Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Come on out and see what it is like to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now let's continue. Again, what we just read here is actually what we read in the Ten Commandments. But you say the law been nailed to the cross because something you read that Paul said. Well, let's look at something else that Paul said. Let's go to Romans chapter 7, verse 7 to verse 14. Romans chapter 7, verse 7 to verse 14. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. Didn't we just read that in the Ten Commandments? Well, what is Paul talking about then? Didn't Paul say the law been nailed to the cross? Why is he talking about the law here? And then he says, the law, he asked the question, is the law sin? He said, God forbid. Have you not read this? You Christian, right? Isn't this the New Testament here? Didn't you say Paul brought you Christianity? I can't find that in the Bible nowhere. Let's continue. Now he said, he would not know sin except for the law. So if you have no law, you don't know what sin is then, do you? But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence, for without the law, sin was dead. If there's no law, there is no sin. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. And the commandment, which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore, the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. So what you're saying is that we don't want to be holy. We don't want to be good, because the law been done away with, so we're going to do it like we want to do it. So a Christian is not a holy person. A Christian is not a good person, because they refuse to keep that which is good and that which is holy. Do you understand what we're saying here? This is in the Bible. Let me continue. Was then that which is good made death unto me? Elohim forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. So yeah, first in America, you have a law against stealing. Well, in the commandment, we have the same commandment that says, thou shalt not steal. But for me to steal, that's exceedingly sinful. But see, with white folk, you used to stealing. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Paul is admitting, I'm carnal, I'm weak, I'm sinful. But he is still an apostle. The only man that ever walked the earth that was sinless was the Mashiach Yeshua. Everybody else has been sinful. Paul was sinful. Daniel was sinful. So again, look at what is written than what your religion tells you, because your religion has been telling you lies. Let's continue. Black people want to be white so bad because white people are viewed as beautiful and black people are not. Let's go to 1 Samuel 16, verse 4 to verse 7. Black people do not think they're beautiful because white folks say that they are beautiful and we don't look the same. I remember back in the old days, black people would straighten their hair, get a process, so they can have long hair like white people. Now, let's look at 1 Samuel 16, verse 4 to verse 7. And Samuel did that which Yahweh spake, and came to Bethlehem, And the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, Cometh thou peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. I am come to sacrifice unto Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, Surely Yahweh's anointed is before him. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. So it doesn't matter what you look like. If you got a good heart, Yahweh sees you got a good heart. But you've been deceived by the white man's images of him being the great one, the handsome one, the manly one. So you want to be like him. But you can't because you're the wrong color. Only the white man is seen as the hero, not you. I mean, you try your best in the movies, yeah. But they're actors. They're not real people. Some of them actors are not even men at all. Let's continue. Let's go to the Song of Shlomo, chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 6. The Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 6. Let's see what that says. It says here, chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 6, the Song of Songs, which is Shlomo's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Shlomo. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. What is a black woman doing in this Bible? Huh? She said I'm black. But you made everybody think that everybody in the Bible is white. What is a black woman doing in the Bible? She admits I'm black because the sun been hitting me. You put a black person out in the sunlight, let them stay out there for a while, they get blacker. You put white folks in the sunlight, stay out there for a while, they get a tan. Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Peter. Again, we're talking about the beauty of white people as opposed to the ugliness of black people, how they made black people feel ugly. All right, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1 to verse 6. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1 to verse 6. For as much then as the Messiah has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. When they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, who shall give an account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? So they wonder, how come y'all don't run with white people no more? Why don't you partner with white people no more? Because black people starting to wake up. They're starting to see that, hey, something wrong with y'all. Ain't nothing wrong with us. There's something wrong with y'all. So they're turning y'all loose. You know what's happening to them? They're being waking up. They begin to realize that they're the chosen people. They are the children of Israel. So they can't hang with you white people like that no more. If you want to learn something from them, that's one thing. But to go out there drinking and partying, they don't do that no more. And see, when you stop doing that, white people talk about you. Oh, he's so sick, did he? He just think he's better than anybody else. Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs 24, verse 1 and 2, and verse 19 and 20. I didn't read verse 6? I sure didn't. I shouldn't have put it down there, but I read it in the cause. Anyway, for this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are now dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to Elohim in the spirit. I did not mean to put that there, but I appreciate y'all letting me know. Let's go to Proverbs 24, verse 1 and 2, and 19 and 20. Proverbs 24, verse 1 and 2, and then verse 19 and 20. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their hearts studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Let's go down to verse 19 and 20. And it says, fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man, the candle of the wicked shall be put out. You don't need to hang around white folks if you know who you are. If they don't keep the commandments, then they're wicked people. Simple as that. It's like night and day. You keep the commandments. That sets you apart from white men, white people. So you don't want to go through your life envying white people. Stay away from them. I've said this before, that I'm not saying this that you should hate white people. No, just the only reason I'm saying this is to let you know you're not like them. Just like the Chinese are not like white people. The Africans are not like white people. The Japanese are not like white people. And all of them are physically different in appearance. And so are you. Black people, you don't look like white people. So that mere fact in itself, white people tried to tell you for hundreds of years, we're not the same people. You stay on your side of the street and we'll stay on our side of the street. Well, we can start saying that too. White people, you stay on your side of the street and we'll stay on our side of the street. Okay? We don't have a problem with staying on our side of the street. We don't want to come around y'all. Now, yeah, you own the economy. You do the hiring and the firing. And we don't have any choice, but we don't own any companies. You made sure of that. You made sure that you own everything. And we didn't own nothing. So we will always be your servants. We will always be your slaves. Let's continue. Let's go. Educated black people act like white people, talk like white people, and think like white people, because being ghetto is their only alternative. It makes sense. Being ghetto is the worst thing a black person can be. First of all, because it has no command of the English language. So he just make up words and speak in a way that no one can understand it but someone from the ghetto. Well, Everybody on earth don't speak ghetto. What's going on out there? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. First Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's what this is for you, black people. As long as you imitate white people, you are still a child. Anything that white people do, you want to do. Why don't you have your own thing? Why must you imitate white people? Because that's all you got. You ain't got nothing else. But you do have something else. You got this. White people don't have this. The Bible? White people ain't got this Bible. The Bible is about you, black people. Did you not know that? Your forefathers actually wrote the Bible. Did you not know that? Didn't white people tell you that? Of course not. They're not going to tell you that because they don't want you to have any hope. They want you to always believe that the white man is better than you. And it's working. And the best defense that you got is to call a white man a racist. That's all you got? That he treats you unfair. Of course he treats you unfair. It's his country. He do what you want to do, what he wants to do. It's his country. Don't get angry with white people because of the way they treat you. If you don't like the way they treat you, leave. Go somewhere else. If you can't find anywhere else to go, shut up. Because they're not going to treat you fairly. They never have and never will. What you need to do is shut your damn mouth and get your own act together. You got the smarts. You got the education. You can open up your own businesses. So why don't you do that? You can hire your own people. But you know what? If you try to hire your own people, you're going to find out what white folks found out. And what white folks found out is that you can't rely on black people. Because they may show up to work, but that don't mean they're going to come tomorrow. You see, black people have a very poor work history. It used to be a time when black people loved going to work. They'd go to work before the white man get there. And the white man get there, they say, we here, boss. And they go to work. They do the 8 hours and leave. They clock out. No big deal. But black people, these young black people today, they don't want to do nothing. All they want to do is sit back, play them video games, and get stunted and blunted. Blunted and stunted. Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20 to verse 33. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20 to verse 33. Wisdom cried without. She uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying, How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and you refuse. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. but you have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Black people, you're showing the whole world you have no wisdom because you do everything white folks do. You imitate white people. Why not imitate the people in the book? These are your people here in the Bible. These are your people. Why not imitate them? You want to imitate somebody, imitate them. These people look like you, and you look like them. In the Bible. In the Bible. They look like you, and you look like them. Why don't you read what they said? Look at what we just read here. Now, the Proverbs, that's a book of wisdom. Don't you want to be wise, black people? See, you've been wise according to the white man's wisdom. The white man didn't write this. Your forefather, the wisest man on earth at the time was King Solomon, King Shlomo. And these are his wisdom writings. Why don't you try to read some of the wisdom he left here for you? Let's go to Hosea chapter 8 and verse 8. Hosea chapter 8 and verse 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. White people don't like you black people. Never have and never will. I mean, look at your condition here in America. They took advantage of your blindness. Because everybody in America comes from somewhere. They bring their culture with them. What is your culture, black people? It's the white man's culture. Everything the white man loves, you love. Everything the white man hates, you hate. You can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror because you're not white. Why do you think these black women wearing white folks' hair? And red lipstick and eyelashes out the head? Why? Black women don't like their skin color either. That's why they wear white folks' hair. The only way that the black man to stop being, the only way the black man can stop being like the white man is to return to Yahweh and keep his commandments and to believe in Yahshua HaMashiach. That's the only way he can stop being the creation of the white man. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12 to verse 14. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12 to verse 14. And further by these, my son, be admonished of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. White folk don't fear their God. But the wisest man on earth saying, yeah, you got to fear Yahweh. For Elohim shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Yeah, you're going to be judged. But see, you're going to be judged first, and a white man going to be judged right after you. See, both of y'all don't even think there's going to be a judgment. Yes, there is, according to the Bible. That judgment is coming. Let's go to Romans 2, verse 11 to verse 13. Romans 2, verse 11 to verse 13. For there is no respect of persons with Elohim. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before Elohim, but the doers of the law shall be justified. That don't sound like something been nailed to the cross. See, white folk don't keep the law, but yet still they are prospering, aren't they? Well, if Yahweh isn't blessing them, then who is? Because Yahweh is the creator of heaven and earth. Now all blessings come through him. But white people being blessed, but where are their blessings coming from? If it's not coming from Yahweh, they don't worship Yahweh. So where are their blessings coming from? I'll give you one guess. You ain't getting no more. Let's see here. Yeah, we did Ecclesiastes. Daniel chapter 7, verse 1 to verse 7. I don't think I'm going to have time to do that, but I'm going to try it anyway. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted from the earth, and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. And after this I saw the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with it, with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now, why did I go here? To let you know what Yahweh thinks about white people. They're beasts. This is the Roman Empire. That last beast, that's the Roman Empire. I got to stop. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.